Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast live on YouTube. And as you can see, I got a special guest with me here tonight. I got my guy CB from the Who That Nation chat line, man. What's going on, CB?
What's up, TJ, man? It's just happy to be with you tonight, man. I've been a big supporter of your podcast, and it's, really dope for me to be on here and collab with you tonight. So
Oh,
very
man.
happy to.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time out, taking time out your busy schedule, man, to be a part of the show. Just for the people in the Who That Nation that may not know you, man, can you introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about yourself and also your channel and everything like that, man?
Okay, well, I go by CB. I have a YouTube page. I hadn't been that active on my personal YouTube page, but I help host the Saints podcast. It's called the WDN Chatline Podcast, and it's a group of people that I know. We started the Saints podcast. Been about a little over a year that we've been going. But basically, we just a group of Saints fans that just want to start talking Saints football with our Saints family. So that's how that went about. As far as me, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. You said as far as you, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yeah, as far as me, far as me becoming a Saints fan, I was born and raised in North Carolina. But how the Saints came about is I had a cousin that was stationed down in Lake Charles. Mm-hmm. He was doing some service down there back in 93, 94. But in 96, when I was old enough to start traveling and stuff like that, my cousin would bring me down there to New Orleans to a few Saints games. At that time, the Carolina Panthers wasn't even a team up here in North Carolina. So with him introducing me to the Saints back in 96, that's how my relationship with the Saints started. And I started playing football that year, Pop Warner. So the Saints, that was my first love, right. As sports period. So that's how the relationship with the Saints started.
Man, that's dope, man. I just find it. I remember when we was talking offline, we was interacting on social media, and you was telling me about you being from North Carolina, and I'm actually, down in South Carolina. I was just wondering, how did you become a Saints fan, man? Because I appreciate you for sharing that story with us, man. I know a lot of people in Who That Nation and the chat line, they appreciate it as well. Thank y'all very much, man. If y'all want to interact with me and CB throughout the show, feel free to comment. I apologize that I'm actually turning sideways. I kind of changed up my my little studio setup, so if I'm not looking directly at the camera, sometimes I apologize because I have to look at the screen to make sure that I'm reading your comments. So yeah, but thank y'all very much, man, for spending your night with us. The topic of conversation is Marshawn Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins, as y'all can see, the two individuals behind me. Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins, two of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. There's a lot of conversation going on about who is the best cornerback duo in the National Football League. Janoris Jenkins was on I think it was Good Morning Football on the NFL Network, and he was talking a little bit about Marshawn Lattimore and himself being one of the best, how they was ranked down at the bottom, but it seemed like people are starting to, having a little bit of appreciation for these guys as a unit. CB, I'm going to go ahead and start with you, man. What do you think about Marshawn Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins as a collective unit? Do you think they are in the top 5 or the top 10 best duo corners in the league? And do you think that they can sustain success together throughout the entire season?
Yes, I absolutely believe they can be a top 5 duo. The thing with me, far as Janoris, he was kind of shaky. I mean, when he was hot, he was playing on a Pro Bowl level. Mm-hmm. But, as of lately up there with the Giants, he was kind of shaky a little bit. So I don't know which Janoris we're going to get.
Right.
He just got an extension and stuff. Maybe he going to get rejuvenated. And when he got traded to us, I give him the benefit of the doubt, trying to
Right.
learn the defense and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But if we can get that old Janoris back, I think we can have the best duo. I
Right.
mean, that's no question. I know you got Peters and Humphrey up there.
Yeah.
When Peters is on point, that's a deadly duo up there too with
Yeah.
him and Humphrey. But I could definitely see them as a top three at least. I know the Steelers got Joe Hayden and Fitzpatrick, but I think Fitzpatrick was playing more safety up there.
Right.
So I mean, but far as a top five, most definitely, if Jenkins can, you know, bring that former Giants play back that he had up in New York.
Right. Well, this is how I feel about it. Let's just be honest. The New York Giants suck. And I think that it messes with your psyche when your team is not that good. Like when you know for a fact that you're not playing for a playoff spot and you basically just playing for a vacation in Bermuda. You know what I'm saying? I guess it kind of messes with you on the field. I think Janoris Jenkins' confidence never wavered, but it was just the fact that he felt that the New York Giants organization were not doing the best in order to get the best pieces in place for them to make a playoff run. He probably understood that they had a young quarterback, or at the time when Eli Manning, he was on borrowed time. The coaching staff that they had from McAdoo to Pat Sherman were absolute train wrecks. The Moore family, it seems like they can't get the right people inside of the organization. So I think he kind of just phoned it in, man. He was just like, man, let me collect my chickens and keep it moving. But I think that he can play with a different type of, like vigor, because he actually went to a team that actually has success. They have a winning formula. The Saints for the last couple of years have been 13-3 and been one of the best teams in the league. All you have to do is do your job, and you can be a very important role to the success of the team. I mean, we seen what he did in those 3 games. I mean, he had an interception in one of the games. In a playoff game against the Vikings, he actually forced a fumble on Adam Thielen. So we know this guy has a lot of talent. And not to mention, he's tied, I think, among active players with 7 pick sixes, man. So he's one of those guys that is very instinctive. He's a good tackler, and he's a guy that's sure of himself. And I think New Orleans Saints can bring the best out of him because he realizes if he does his job, there's a possibility he can make a Super Bowl, man. And honestly, when you start to get into your 30s as a player, you start thinking about how you're going to be remembered. And I know he wants to be remembered as a Super Bowl champion. I think that's a reason why, he came to the New Orleans Saints. I mean, when he got traded, he was excited about it. And I think that's the reason why he was happy about the extension. So, I mean, that's just my honest opinion about that. But we'd like to hear from you all. What do you think about Janoris Jenkins, Marshawn Lattimore as a collective unit? Let's see what Kimo says. He says, I feel that the Saints have the best duo in the league. Think about it. In 17, Lattimore and Crawley did decent as a tandem, and Jack Rabbit is a huge upgrade from anybody opposite of Lattimore. That's a good point right there, man. Let's talk, man. We talked a little bit about Jack Rabbit. Let's talk about Marshawn Lattimore, man. He's one of those guys. He's a very, very talented corner. You can argue and say he's probably definitely top 10 in the National Football League. I think the only thing people have against him is the fact that sometimes he get lost in the lights and sometimes he give up big plays at certain moments. I guess he's not really paying attention, or he feel like nobody is going to test him. What are your thoughts, CB, about Marshawn Lattimore, and what does he have to do in order for him to really truly get the respect he deserves as being a top corner?
Well, I mean, like you just said, it's some times where he get lost in the light, and it's really against last year he done good against Mike Evans, but really Mike Evans and it was a few other receivers. But he was kind of up a little bit to begin the year. Then he kind of kind of panned out, but when he's on point, I mean, he definitely is a top 10 corner. I won't go as far as top 5 yet because the consistency. I haven't seen, just consistency. I mean, every team coming in, saying we can't throw to his side. And like you said, it may be that, cats, he thinking cats won't try him like that. They gon', I mean, if you think about it, we always had the weak link at the number 2 corner. Like last year was Eli. Well, you go into the game and you game plan, gotta attack Eli. We gotta attack Eli
Right.
and Eli and PJ when PJ was over there.
Right.
So maybe he was out there, kind of just taking it for granted a little bit, and they just start, light his side up, just testing him to see is he a walk over there, and it didn't pan out well in some games, but we know when he is on point, he definitely is a top 10 corner. Right. But with Jenkins being here, that's definitely a upgrade over Eli. And in my opinion, a bad Jenkins should be, better than Eli.
Right. Well, this is how I feel about it, CB. Even though Marshawn Lattimore, I feel like he has some skins on the wall as far as him being defensive rookie of the year. He was a multi-time Pro Bowler. Didn't get an opportunity to play in a Pro Bowl this past season because he was dealing with an injury. But this is the thing, and it's very weird. Marshawn Lattimore goes from being the number one corner that people respect and not want to throw to the side. He is going to get tested this season because if you look at Janoris Jenkins and his skins on the wall and his credibility versus Marshawn Lattimore's credibility, I would choose Marshawn Lattimore over Janoris Jenkins. I mean, there was a reason why, if you look at it, most of the balls were thrown to the side of Marshawn Lattimore in that playoff game. If you notice, when Stephon Diggs was going up against Janoris Jenkins, man, Stephon Diggs was frustrated on the sidelines. He was throwing his helmet. He was pouting. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if teams are really trying to scheme against the Saints secondary, who am I going to choose to throw the ball at? They're going to choose Lattimore. So I feel like this is the perfect storm for Marshawn Lattimore because they picked up your fifth-year option in New Orleans Saints. So you're looking for a big contract. So you can leave no stone left unturned right here by going out there having a solid performance every single game. And you don't have to worry about getting lost in the lights because teams are going to try to test you because you see what Janoris Jenkins can do. He's a very instinctive cornerback. He can jump in front of routes. He's a short tackler. And he's one of those guys that play from the start to the end of the whistle when he's motivated. He's in a great spot. He feels like he's in a great point in his life. And I feel like the Saints are going to really see what Marshawn Lattimore can do. Me personally, I like Marshawn Lattimore. I feel like he is the best cornerback the Saints ever had, period. That's just my opinion as far as like athletic ability, talent, somebody that you can count on from Sunday to Sunday. So it's really up to him, man, for him to really show the world because teams are going to test him more so than I feel like they're going to test Janoris Jenkins. Let's see who else has something to say in the chat here. Let me scroll down just a tad bit. We got Jerry Port says, State of the Saints. I'm sure you heard the news about fans wearing a mask to the game. Jerry, yeah, actually heard about that, man. Fans are now required to wear masks to the game for those who are opening their stadium to fans. CB, have you heard about that? And if so, what do you think about fans wearing masks to the game?
Yeah, I seen that this morning, but my thing is, do you think fans gonna be yelling in that mask for for the whole game? I'm talking about it's already everybody have problems breathing.
Right.
But you really think they're gonna be yelling and stuff in the mask? And they saying that, but they're not gonna be able to control. Even if it's 12, 13,000 people, you get about 500 of those 12, 13,000 people in the stands. A few of them, they're gonna take their mask off, at some point, and that may be, how something may get contracted to someone else. But I mean, far as that, I don't think that's gonna help. So somebody not gonna follow that rule, and they're not gonna be able to manage all of those fans, with the mask.
Well, I just feel like that's just the NFL covering their behind on this, in my honest opinion. They saying, okay, we're telling fans that they have to wear a mask to the game. So even if fans take off their masks in order to cheer and everything like that, the NFL is basically washing their hands with the situation, saying, well, we did our job, making sure that fans were supposed to wear masks. So if a fan end up not wearing their mask, they're like, well, we can't really do anything about that. We tried. I feel like this, man. Me personally, I feel like you said, there's no way that you can police this. I hate to say this, but I just feel like they should have football games with no fans right now. I mean, you look at the climate that we're in, man. The numbers are constantly climbing. Despite we have people out here that conspiracy theorists talking about it's a hoax. whatever, man. We got numbers climbing, and we do not want to jeopardize anybody, not just the players, man, but the people that's in the stadiums. We don't want to jeopardize that. And I get it. We love the Saints. We love our Philadelphia Eagles. We love our Las Vegas Raiders. We love our Chargers and Rams. But the thing about it is, man, you want to make sure that you're safe, and you want to make sure that you don't put people in harm's way, man. Sometimes you got to protect people from themselves, man, because people are not going to make the best decisions. If it comes down to it, man, people are just that big of fans. They're that big of fanatics to actually go to some of these games. And you can be one of those people that's following the rules. You can be the one that's wearing a mask throughout the game from start to finish. All it takes is a couple of idiots. I hate to call them that, but it is what it is. A couple of idiots taking a mask off, trying to chill, talking about if I can make my voice louder, maybe the defense will get a stop. So I feel like they need to until they figure out something, until they figure out a very good strategic plan. I feel like they shouldn't have any people in the stands right now. I feel like if they're trying to put people in the stands, that's very selfish. Is the only way and the only reason why they're doing this is because they're trying to get as much money as they possibly can. And I don't think that you should capitalize on people's stupidity, because I feel like it's crazy for you to show up to a game and you know for a fact people aren't going to be able to follow the rules. So, I mean, that's just on me. Let's see the next question here. Sergeant AR10 says Lattimore can ball. He just hold Julio every game. I will say this though, CB. It seems like Marshawn Lattimore does a better job against bigger physical wide receivers, like the guys that are like 6'3", 6'4", but he struggles against guys that are like, smaller guys like a Cooper Kupp or Adam Thielen or something like that. It seems like he struggled against those guys. Do you think there's a reason why, a cornerback like Marshawn Lattimore can get winning matchups on Evans and Jones, but just can't seem to like have that same energy with slot receivers?
I just think if you really think about it, the receivers he been struggling with is great route runners. They great route runners. It's really not him getting beat off of speed. It's just the route running. I mean, Julio, he's a great route runner too, but he's long. He got to get up to speed. Same with Mike Evans. After Mike got off on him, that the other year, Marshawn held his own against him.
Right.
But if you look at AB, Cooper Kupp, these guys that are great route runners, he seemed to have. Even Adam Thielen in the playoff game,
right.
He seemed to have, issues with, very great route runners, and teams see that, so, he definitely going to have to step it up in that. I don't know if he need to, just press more, at the line. He got to get his improved, pressing the receiver, throwing them off, the route running, that may have to be, something he get better at, but. Yeah, it's usually these, really good route runners.
Right.
They give them a few problems.
Yeah, I mean, I look at him like, man, he does such an outstanding job on people like Julio. Like, I think that game that the Saints played the Falcons inside the Superdome, and I remember he put that big hit on Julio, and then maybe like the next play he went out with a hamstring injury. And the very next play, Julio Jones with like 60 yards or something like that. And I remember him on the sideline just so upset. I mean, he when he's dialed in, when he's motivated, when he's motivated to play, I mean, he's hard to stop, man. It's just that consistency that we're talking about here. I look at it like I feel like he don't give the same energy to certain players. Like, if he knows he has a matchup against Julio this week, it can kind of solidify him as being good. But if he knows he's going up against Ty Sharp or one of these smaller guys, one of the guys he feel like not worth his energy, then I feel like, he's not putting his best foot forward. So I think that if he consistently plays the way that he plays every single Sunday against elite competition, I think that people will give him the respect he deserves. So, I mean, that's just my opinion.
You think about it like the Deons and stuff like that. They didn't care who was in front of them. They was going to give them they energy week in and out.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Lattimore and Jenkins, I think, will be a good duo as long as they can stay healthy. Yeah, health is a big issue in the New Orleans Saints secondary. CB. It seems like on paper they have a good cohesive unit, a collection of guys that have been together for a long time since they came into the league. So chemistry is a huge factor for the New Orleans Saints. You know what I'm saying? So, what are your thoughts on just guys not being able to sustain their health throughout the season, man? And what do you think is the solution to this problem?
Well, I mean, with Marshawn, far as him being inactive, a lot of weeks, like when he came into when he came out of college, he had hamstring issues.
Right.
He got on track with that,
Mm-hmm.
with his hams. And then it's something else. It's something that's always nagging him, but he just gonna have to if it's not severe, I think he just gonna have to play through it.
Right.
And far as Jenkins, I'm not sure what his injury record, was up there in New York, but I don't think it wasn't, as severe as Marshawn, with constantly, a nagging injury, so that shit helped.
Yeah.
But basically, I don't know, man. It's just gonna come down to, just more stretching and,
taking care of their body. I just look at it like this, man. When it comes to the secondary, you always gonna have injuries. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. It's just the fact that these guys, the way that they throw the ball, you know what I'm saying, at an alarming rate now in these days in the modern day NFL, guys are going to end up getting injured. So there's not really much you can do about it. It's just the hand that you dealt. It's just a string of bad luck. But I do think that the Saints need to do a better job with the rotation. Guys are going to get hurt, but you need guys that will be able to work on the inside as well as the outside. I feel like there are too many role players in the secondary, guys that only can play one particular position. And what you're doing is you're actually handicapping yourself and you are screwing yourself over because there's a strong possibility that somebody is going to get hurt. You're going to have to slide a nickel into the outside, and it's going to be, it's going to be bombs away. So I feel like what they need to do is they need to get guys that can play both on the inside as well as the outside. If you're a nickel corner, you don't have to play immaculate on the outside, but you got to play formidable. You have to, man, because if somebody goes down, then it's going to be issues, man. And I feel like you're going to have these same issues over and over again. So I think the Saints need to learn their lesson and understand that guys have been injured. I mean, last year you had Von Bell and Marcus Williams. They end up being hurt at the same time. You had PJ, he had to slide into the safety, and you had to sign DJ Swearinger. So you want to get guys that can come in, that can rotate, and you have to worry about other guys changing their positions and making them vulnerable to get beat at that position. So I think the Saints need to learn from that, in my honest opinion. Need to get a little bit better, get a little bit more depth in the secondary. How's it going, TJ Jones? And what's up, Who That Nation? Casual Dex, thank you for checking out the live. Sergeant says Jenkins is a fighter. He has good ball instincts. His size is the issue. Yeah, I agree. Janoris Jenkins is a big physical guy. He's a guy that's not afraid to press anybody, man. And he talk trash on the field, man. He got a lot of confidence, man. Like a whole bunch of confidence. I like him a lot, as far as like his confidence, his abilities and stuff like that. He can talk trash and back it up. It's not like he Jason David back in the day, you know what I'm saying, talking trash, getting smoked down the field. So we don't need that energy. J Live 504 says, who that the State of the Saints podcast, and who that to my boy CB. Nice to see you doing well, my brother. So a shout out to you, man.
Shout out J Live.
Yeah. He said sorry about the misspelling, man. We got you, man. We understand, man. We spell correct here, man. We T9 for you up in. All right. Official Young Nolan says, listen though, TJ, the team fed off the energy with the fans though. So if we have no fans, do you think it'll affect the Saints? I'm gonna go ahead and let you take that question first, CB. Do you think
I'm
that
I'm
the lack of fans going to affect the Saints this season?
I'm gonna keep it hot. Honestly, yeah, this is my opinion. I don't think we've been benefiting off of the fans
Hmm.
as of late. I'm
Hmm.
talking about like the same impact we had a few years ago, like where we running up the scoreboard and these defenses is we hadn't had that same impact recently.
Right. Right. Right.
But I mean, like I said, we all don't know, how this is gonna pan out, far as no fans at all. But in my opinion, far as the crowd noise, we really hadn't been taking advantage of that as of late.
Right.
Cats usually was literally scared to come down to the dome,
Right.
because of the crowd.
Right.
But as of late, it
Right.
hadn't been exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
far as with no fans, I think this is all new to us. So we'll definitely see. But I'm not sure we're gonna have fans or not.
Yeah.
For the Saints.
Right. I feel like this, CB. I look at the New Orleans Saints and I look at them at home and I look at them on the road, man. And I like the people to know that the Saints are one of the best road teams in all of football. And I'm saying that to say this, okay? What do you think happens when the Saints go on the road? And they probably got a few Saints fans in there, but the majority of the fans are fans of that home team. And the Saints still go out there and perform. Look, if you're good, you're good. And I think people are blowing this home field advantage Superdome thing way out of proportion and stuff like that. I get it, man. Ever since like 2006, we have had like a really strong home field advantage. People have been scared, always talking about how the dome rocking. And I think we kind of just fell into that mystique, and we just feel like all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, like the Saints and the Superdome, it's just an automatic dub. That ain't the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, as of late in big games, when they matter most, the New Orleans Saints have failed to win those games. Against the 49ers, they failed. Against the Rams, they failed. Against the Vikings, they failed. Games where it mattered most, the games where it was mano a mano, who's the best, the Saints did not, come out on the winning end. So I feel like this. If you're a good team, if you're a solid team, you got all the parts together, then it don't matter where you play. You can play in the Superdome. You can play in the Georgia Dome. You can play on planet Neptune, Pluto, wherever you play, you're going to be successful. So I feel like that whole home field advantage thing is just blown way out of proportion. If you good, you good. If you're these guys are professionals, man. So if you need somebody screaming and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, just for you to go out there and get the sack the quarterback or catch an interception or run between the tackles or catch a pass, then maybe you're in the wrong profession.
You don't have it inside.
Right. Right, for real. You need it. I live in North Las Vegas, and I would love going to see Saints at Raiders Week 2 Monday Night Football. But with this COVID-19, known as coronavirus, going on, it ain't worth it. Yeah, man, I feel bad for all the people that's out there in Vegas, man. Finally get yourself a team, and then they built this beautiful stadium. I mean, that stadium is off the chain. But I mean, you can't even play in it. That's crazy right there, man. I feel bad though, but I just don't think that you should risk your health going to a football game. I just don't, man.
No.
Jackie Franklin says, what do you think the Saints need to do to win the Super Bowl? CB, you can get a crack at that. What do you think the Saints got to do in order to get that Super Bowl championship?
Well, my first position was to get a number 2 receiver. We all know what Mike could do and stuff, but when it came down to the playoffs, whether it was the Vikings, or the Rams, they start to figure us out.
Right.
So you start playing that kind of game against us, and then we kind of stall out. It hurt us. We had to play catch up. Last year we had to play catch up. So I think getting that Emmanuel Sanders, that's definitely gonna help us.
Right.
And the second position I think is getting a replacement for Eli. I think Janoris Jenkins, even on his bad day, I think he's better than Eli. There's no disrespect, to Eli, but it was games where they were just picking on him. They just picking on him. We already know they was picking on PJ, but as far as a number 2, they was picking on Eli. They not gonna really do that to Janoris.
Right.
I mean, even Janoris' bad days, you just not gonna pick on him like they was doing with Eli. So getting a number 2 receiver, a solid number 2 receiver, not decent. This is a great number 2 receiver, and then to compliment to Lattimore, what I think those were 2 important positions we needed.
Right.
And I think it shouldn't be no excuse. Barring injury, it's no excuse. We got the pieces to make this run.
Yeah. I agree with you. We definitely got the pieces to make the run. But what do I think the Saints need in order to win the Super Bowl? I think they need consistency, man. And I think they need to know how to close. It's been on so many occasions as a Saints fan, man, we have to subject ourselves to straight heartbreak because, rather it be a run or a pass or something like that, putting the Saints in the lead and them not being able to sustain a lead in late in games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just amazing. I mean, it is just amazing how this team just collapsed down the stretch, like in the last 2 minutes of a game. It is just amazing, like how they just completely collapsed. And I feel like no matter how good your team is, if you keep on having these same issues, then we're going to keep on going through the same thing over and over again. The Saints need to learn how to close. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the New Orleans Saints team. Too much talent, too much ability, too much skills for these guys not to be in at least one Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? At least one out the last 3 years. Okay, you can take 2018, they kind of screwed us over with that one, but I still feel like they should have went deep in the playoffs last year, and they should have at least been in the NFC Championship game against Philadelphia, and you never know what happened with that. So the New Orleans Saints had their opportunities. I just want to see them close, man. Look, I'm to a point, man, I'd rather them get blown out by 3 touchdowns than them to be losing on last-minute plays and Hail Marys and stuff. I'm like, come on, man. Like, give me a break. So if they clean that up, I think they'll be able to make the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion on that one. Let's see. Some said facts. I'm tired of the Saints losing. I think we all are. We tired of getting teased up in here. We have seen Jenkins play all 16 games yet. He's saying we haven't seen Jenkins play all 16 games yet, but I've seen him play 3. Look, let me say this, and I'll let you talk, CB. I think a lot of people not understanding this. This guy came in on a Wednesday, okay? He was playing on a Sunday, and I think he had an interception in the game that he played in. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, for a guy to come in the middle of the week, no, he don't know the playbook, still out there playing and out there making a difference. Like, come on, bro. Like 16 games, I don't need to see 16 games up out of him. I already know. I mean, can you imagine what he gonna know what now that he's ingratiated into the defense? I mean, he gonna be pretty much unstoppable out there if he wants to be. CB, what do you think about that, man? Do you think you need to see 16 games out of Janoris Jenkins as a Saint?
Janoris Jenkins, I don't need to see that, to get my thoughts and opinions on him, like as far as a player. Yeah, I've seen enough of him going back to St. Louis. I know, yes, he's gotten older, but like I said, he's a number 2 now. He was a number 1 up there in New York and stuff, so he's not covering, other than, teams like Tampa that's going to have 2 number 1s out there.
Right.
He's going to be getting number 2s and stuff week in and out.
Right.
So we know what he can do. I mean, for the ones, that's been, tuned in around the lead as well, So we not seen what he can do, and for him to guard mostly number 2s, I think he gonna hold it down.
Mm-hmm. I think he will too, man. I don't need to see 16 games. Who That Nation says, how you feel about Dietrich Nichols? You think he'll make the team or be any good? Dietrich Nichols, of course, he played in the XFL. He led the XFL in interceptions. Saints end up acquiring him right after the XFL, decided to close the doors. So do you know anything about Dietrich Nichols, and do you think that he'll make the team?
I don't know too much about Dietrich Nichols. I just heard that he was a slot corner. I think we gotta get depth on the outside. Mm-hmm. That's why I wasn't a big fan of PJ coming back once again, because when he get on that outside, and he always ends up on the outside, that's what we get hurt at. Whether it's during a crucial playoff game or, just any old game. But I'm hearing that he's a nickelback. I think that's what he played in the SFL. If that's the case, we'll see how good he really is. I really didn't watch him play, but hopefully he's good on the outside as well, because that's what we need to be getting, solid depth at.
Yeah, I agree, man. I feel like with Dietrich Nichols, man, I think that he is a guy that can possibly make the team. You're going up against PJ Williams and Patrick Robinson. I mean, you sneeze on Patrick Robinson, he out for about 4 or 5 games. So there's still a strong possibility he can get an opportunity to go out there and play. And he just got to go out there and show what he made of, man. You can't be out there half-stepping. No preseason games, so you really got to be putting your best foot forward and your best stuff on tape. You know what I'm saying, out there on that practice field, man. In order for coaches to recognize you, in order for them to believe that you can actually make a difference on the team. So you can't be half-stepping this season, man.
No.
Okay, I already read that one. Man, that hit Lattimore put on Julio on that quick route. Yeah, man, that was pretty nasty right there. He lowered the boom on him on that one. That was a receipt. That was a receipt, in my opinion, because I don't know if y'all remember that game. I don't know if it was like a Thursday night game. I think Marshawn Lattimore caught an interception right before halftime, and Julio ran down the field. Man, Julio popped that boy. I said, so that definitely was a receipt he put on Julio, man, because Julio hit him so hard, man. I was like, my goodness, Julio at the wrong position. He should have been a safety out there. But Russell McGee says, hopefully they develop a healthy, competitive spirit that brings out the absolute best in them. Lockdown Lattimore and the Jackrabbit can be outstanding this year, in my personal opinion. Yeah, Russell, I think we both agree with you on that. I think they both have what it takes to be a dynamic duo, man. I honestly feel like there's really no weak spots as far as their technique and their ability is concerned. It's more about, just keeping yourself motivated and keeping yourself inspired throughout the game. That's just the way I feel about that. Emmanuel Trigg says, we have to understand that the DBs play the game running backwards, so it gets tough to stay 100%. What do you think about that, man? Them running backwards. Do you think that's a strong issue? Why they can't be 100%?
Well, he talking about far as the cornerbacks getting tested.
Yeah, he's just talking about, I guess, when they say height, and what I'm saying, they back. Just.
That's part of the cornerback job. You got to do that, but I just. You look at the depth chart again, we had 2 faces on there that was, there last year.
Right.
I think we could have not so much of Patrick Robinson, but with PJ, I'm not he a Saint, so I'm not gonna be saying, not gonna bash him that much.
I am. I would. You know what I'm saying? Like CD, man, we keep it 100 on here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the guy's not playing up to snuff, we got to call it for what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that makes us any less of a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't play well. You know what I'm saying? I will say this about PJ, and I keep saying this, and I'm going to say this to you, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people that follow the show know this. PJ Williams would be a much better safety than he would be a cornerback, because he's a better tackler. He's a better tackler. When you're a safety, you're most of the time you're a safety because you're not as fast as a corner. He's not that fast, but he's a short tackler, and when he get his hands on you going down, and he's a pretty decent hitter, man. So I feel like he could guard tight ends and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Or if somebody come across, you know what I'm saying, beat the corner or something like that, he can be the last line of defense. I just feel like when you put him in a straight line and they just shoot, you know what I'm saying, they shoot right past him, he don't have good recovery speed, man. So that's just the way I feel about him. I don't know. You just got to call for what it is. He's not that good as a corner, man. Average.
We got to be solid. We gotta be solid at that position. We gotta have at least 2-3 deep. They're solid. That's gonna be able to, but we got similar names coming in once again. Hopefully this Nichols guy, can hold it down. I was interested in Logan Ryan, but he was asking too much.
Yeah,
but I know when he was with Tennessee and New England, he was seeing both sides. He was inside, he playing inside and out.
Right.
But I think he's talking about like 15 mil or something like that. He definitely ain't getting that from us.
Yeah, too rich for our blood right now, man. He would have been a good asset and a good addition, but that's too much money. Lattimore is hit and miss with me. Don't forget how he lost that ball in coverage on that critical third down against Adam Thielen. I don't want to say he hit and miss, man. I think people, like me personally, man, I think people like Patrick Peterson, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, and Deion Sanders got people like really confused about, good cornerback play. Because they feel like the definition, like if they feel like if they don't have a cornerback that shuts the whole entire field down every single game, then he's not good. And they start like pinpointing like maybe 1 or 2 plays or something like that. Guys are gonna get beat. That's why I keep telling people, man, those wide receivers get paid a lot of money to catch those balls, man. And just as like ain't nothing wrong with getting smoked or getting beat by the elite receiver. I can take that. I can take a cornerback getting beat by an elite receiver. Adam, I said this earlier on the live that I did earlier today. I said Adam Thielen is one of the best wide receivers in football. I said the only reason he don't get the respect he deserves is because he's a white boy. That's just my opinion. Like we have a tendency of like turning our heads or something like that when a guy is like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like people like Jordan Nelson or Cooper Kupp or something like that. Like we turn our heads and be like, man, whatever. But this dude is like really, really good. Like, he had like 9 straight games with 100 yards receiving. 9. I mean, he was 1 game short of breaking Michael Irvin's record. All right, come on, man. Like, and you had Stephon Diggs on the other side of you. So that tells you everything you need to know about this dude. I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Like getting beat by Adam Thielen is not the worst thing I could think of.
No.
I mean, man, what do you think about this though, man? Cornerbacks and stuff like that. What do you think what do you think about what is the true definition of an elite cornerback to you?
True definition of an elite quarterback.
Elite cornerback. Yeah.
You gotta draw fear to the opposing quarterback. And not saying that, Marshawn didn't. But I think once Marshawn, like after that rookie season, he started thinking that he had that respect over Darrell and them. They had to build that. I mean, it was beyond just a rookie year. They had to keep on doing that to build that fear.
Right.
But I just think he just get caught. Of course, he's not sleeping, but I'm talking about he just get caught, not fully engaged, and then they just hit him up, right. or they go to him more than he thinking. They're expecting them to. Because if you think about it, I mean, that's just you go into the game. You go into the field room. Boom, they know Eli is a weak lead. Okay, right. we gotta hit Eli up. We gotta pick on him. But that don't mean we just take our eye off of Marshawn. Eli, he might just have a good game. So let's try him and see if he's still gonna be getting picked on and abused. And if so, let's swap it up.
Right.
And then that's. You gotta play games with both cornerbacks,
right?
To an extent, but like I said, after that rookie year, I think it just kind of got to his head, that he was really that dude, right? And he just got caught slipping some games. But when he on point, he is a top 10, at least in my opinion. He definitely a top 10.
All right,
but he's shown that he can hang with the best receivers in the game. Right. He's shown that.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. I just think that I just think he needs to stay motivated throughout the game. J Live says, I'm going to elaborate a little further on Lattimore. Lattimore struggles against every elite wide receiver. Tell me I'm lying. I'm gonna have to say you lying, J Live. I'm sorry, because he does not struggle. He does not struggle against every elite wide receiver. He didn't struggle against Amari Cooper. He didn't struggle against Mike Evans. He didn't struggle against Julio Jones. I mean, I can think of maybe some other players that he didn't struggle against. You know what I'm saying, in a game or that this season, if I think about it, but it don't get more elite than some of the guys that I just named. So I just feel like I just feel like, man, that's not accurate. You know what I'm saying? You can say that maybe he give up a deep play, you know what I'm saying, every now and then, but he don't struggle against every elite receiver. You know what I'm saying? I think that's not I don't think that's a fair assessment right there. CB, what do you think about that, man? You think he struggles against every elite receiver?
Nah, not every elite receiver. I mean, you got to think, and in my opinion, Marshawn falls as a number one corner. I think he has the toughest task as a cornerback in the game because you got to think Tampa. You know, they been sorry as a team, but they receivers has been like that. So you gotta he either gonna be on Godwin or Evans.
Right.
And then Atlanta, you either gonna have Julio or Ridley. And then with the Panthers are, they kind of got some average cats over there,
Right.
at the receiver. But I can argue that he had the toughest task as a number one corner when it comes to guard receivers, and
Right.
according to the schedule that was played. But against when it comes to the division part, they playing each other twice a year. So maybe Evans might get off one game and then Marshawn. So I really ain't gonna go off of the division. I think Marshawn can lock down the division. When he's on point.
Right.
But yeah, he's locked up some elite receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this right now. This is according to Pro Football Focus. Marshawn Lattimore is ranked number 2 in man coverage since 2017. Number 1 is Stephon Gilmore, followed by Lattimore, and then Tre'Davious White. So say what you want to say about him, but if according to analytics, because Pro Football Focus, they put everything, you know what I'm saying, according to like analytics, schemes, plays, you know what I'm saying, when they were actually guarding the person and not looking as if they was guarding the person. They put all that into like effect. And man, he is one of the best man-to-man coverage corners in the NFL. So I'm just saying, I mean, take it for what it is.
We just happened to get the short end when it came to like Adam Thielen. I mean, in my opinion, as far as a route runner, he's a top 5 route runner. Game. Be a top 5 route runner. I mean, I'm talking about those were like games where he really had issues with receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And like Mike Evans, like I said, that's a division game, so it's gonna kind of be back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, they know each other and stuff like that. They know their tendencies and everything like that. So it's gonna be back and forth. They probably, they see a little something that they didn't see in the last game. When they play that second game, they play much better. So let me see. Just Pretty Carly says Marshawn knows how to play corner and safety. A lot of those guys don't. It just coach putting them in position. He's more comfortable with Sean. Also played wide receiver before corner, so he is very versatile. Yeah, man. I just I think that Marshawn Lattimore is like a really good player, man. I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand like how Saints fans have become so spoiled. I mean, we just had Monday like the worst cornerbacks in Saints history. Like, we did like a bracket. And honestly, I just selected 12 guys. I could have easily selected about 16 or 20 of them. Like, the Saints have a revolving door of hot garbage that have come through this organization, man. You probably can count on one hand, maybe 2 of the decent cornerbacks that the Saints have had throughout their history. I ain't just talking about in the last 10 years. I'm talking about throughout history. So how we just become so spoiled that the fact that we just feel like we can just dismiss up the snuff cornerback play. I just don't understand it. Like, do y'all want to see Fred Thomas back out there? Do y'all want to see Brandon Browner, possibly Fred Weary? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe y'all want to see somebody like that out there again. Maybe I put on the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page the Fred Thomas out there getting roasted and toasted. So maybe y'all need to go back and take a look at some of those pictures and realize that we are much better as a secondary than we were back in those days, man. Like, for real, that was some high garbage right there. So I just don't understand that, man. I know out of sight, out of mind, but I'll never forget how trash that secondary was. And I'll never forget like some of the contributors to that trash. So I think we just need to kind of pump our brakes on like some of these guys and nitpicking about 1 or 2 plays that they give up for elite wide receivers. I'm afraid the Saints window is closed. 2 minutes squandered opportunities. CB, do you think that the Saints window has closed?
Okay, before I answer that, the last comment, that was one of my teammates on the podcast. So shout out to Miss Pretty Carly.
Yeah,
and
man,
shout out to my team, WD, Uptown, Flamer, Peyton, Jake. Shout out to all of y'all, man.
Man, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all of them, man. Coming to the state of the Saints, man. I appreciate that. And man, thank y'all, for supporting CB, man. Thank you so much. Like back to your question right here. Do you think about the Saints window? What do you think about that?
I think this year is it. I mean, it's all or nothing this year. And the reason for that, because we got a lot of contracts this up. We got, AK, he don't have a 5th-year option. So it's either you pay him or he's going to test the free agents market. We don't need to let him test. If we really want to keep him, we don't need to let him get out there, or he might be the highest paid running back. Because what we may think his price tag is, somebody else definitely won't mind making him, the highest paid running back.
Right.
So we need to take care of him first. Then we got DeMario. We got to take care of him. Right. Who knows what he may want to do. Then we got Ramczyk. They're going to be on their 5th years, him and Marshawn, but one of them, you don't want both of them to walk at the same time. So it's a lot of contracts that's going to be up. Then we don't know what Breeze is going to do.
Right.
So it's a lot of stuff that's going to be shuffling around after this season. So this year, it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Last year was, that too, but I think we got an extra year, for us bringing in some pieces. We retained Jenkins and we brought in Emmanuel Sanders.
Right.
So that gave us some more life for this window. And I'm not saying that we can continue this success. I'm saying for us, for sure that we're going to have this group of guys, we have another year with this same group of guys. They helped us out last year. So I think this year, the window's still open.
Yeah, I feel like the window is closing, and I definitely agree with the last little bit of that statement that Scott had. He said 2 minutes squandered opportunity. I 100% agree with that.
Right.
I often say back in 2017, the Saints arguably, I don't even think it's arguably, the Saints had the best draft class I've ever seen. For guys to actually just come, get drafted, and just contribute right away like that, I think you have to go back to like the 1940s or something like that. The last time you had an offensive and a defensive rookie of the year on the same team. I mean, you can easily say that Ryan Ramczyk should have been an all-pro in his rookie season. I mean, the guy didn't give up a sack. I mean, you got all of these different guys. I mean, even Marcus Williams, he had 5 interceptions in his first season. You had all these guys, that came along. You know what I'm saying? Alvin Kamara, all these dudes. I mean, you got these guys on rookie deals, and yet you still couldn't close the deal, man. So they definitely squandered a lot of opportunities. And I can't knock Scott for feeling the way that he do about the window being closed, because you have to take into account, man, teams are getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because we looking at teams and we're like, we dismiss them and be like, oh, man, they were trash last year, don't mean that they won't rise, you know what I'm saying, and become better. I mean, you look at the Packers. I mean, as fraudulent and as fake and phony and smoke and mirrors as they were, they still missed the playoffs, and it was 13-3 the next season. So teams are getting better. You know what I'm saying? The Seahawks, you know what I'm saying? The Eagles are going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. Like, I hate to say it, but the Cowboys might even get better. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these different teams that have missed the playoff, you know what I'm saying? There's a strong possibility that they are going to, you know what I'm saying, make a run. And the Saints can't just keep on relying on the fact that we parade Drew Brees out every year and we just think all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be Super Bowl or bust. Nah, man, you got to go out there. You got to take advantage of these opportunities. That is why, you know what I'm saying, I can't take or subject myself to this type of situations in the playoffs. Again, man, like, come on, man, you got to step it up. How many times y'all going to make these mistakes? Like, give me a break, man. Come on, man. Somebody needs to do something. So the window is definitely closing. And you also said, man, about these contracts. I mean, you got to sign these guys. These guys are not. I mean, as much as y'all want to think that these guys just love the Saints so much, man, this is a business. These guys got to take care of their families. They got, they want to make sure that they have generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? They want to make sure that they put themselves in a position when they retire, they be fine. So, I mean, do you honestly think about this? Von Bell went from the New Orleans Saints to the Cincinnati Bengals. He went to from one of the best teams to one of the worst. That tells you everything you need to know about how players feel about, teams and money. I'm just leave it at that. Maybe I'm tripping, but defense plays better on the road. At least last year they did. Now you ain't tripping. I agree with that. That defense was pretty lights out on that road, man. I think they best games defensively was not towards the end, but like in the middle of the game against the Seahawks. I mean, you can't stop Russell Wilson, man. Like, honestly, when in fourth quarter, Russell Wilson be shining. Like, you ain't gonna stop him. You only can hope to contain him. And for the most part of that game, they had him under control. The Chicago Bears, I mean, that's not really saying much. They have Mitchell Trubisky out there. But, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, they played pretty decent. I mean, in that Cowboy game, even though that was a home game, they played really well. So, the defense was really stepping up in the absence of Drew Brees. They probably played the best I've ever seen them play in years, man. What do you think about the Saints defense on the road?
Shout out to WD. Defense on the road, they definitely stepped up that Seattle game. Once Breeze went down, they definitely stepped up. And yeah, like you said, that was the best defense that I've seen. I'm talking about as far as a collective unit that I've seen in a while. Right. So I just think the defense, they just need to get some. Well, I think they need to accept the fact that Breeze, because it's always been, Breeze the driving force of the team.
Right.
The offense can still be a great driving force, but the defense need to take that role like, okay, this goes through us. We gotta. That's the mindset they had when Breeze went down.
Right.
Because now, you heard everybody talking and stuff. They thought we was done. If it weren't for that defense plan, Teddy Bridgewater wouldn't have been 5-0.
Yep.
If their defense stepped up.
I agree.
The defense stepped up, and they played great on the road. Right. They played also on the road. And that's been a trend, beyond just this past year, the years before. So I'm not sure exactly, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. Maybe they just feel. Maybe they just get extra energy, when they're in an opposing, arena. But, yeah, they definitely been playing better on the road.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I do. I think they play better on the road. They seem like they more buckled down. They more zoned in. Sometimes you got to be able to be good on the road as well as just being at home. Emmanuel Trigg said, TJ, I noticed you laughed when I made the point on the cornerback staying healthy to cover these number one receivers. I just have one question. Who works harder, the receiver or the cornerback? I think they both work hard, and I think that they just do two different type of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a hard-working corner. You need a hard-working wide receiver. So I don't think you can compare the two. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they both like take their fair share of punishment. You have the cornerback out there, he has to make the tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about much larger receivers and stuff like that, and much smaller corner, they're going at the ankles. So that make them more susceptible to taking knees to the head, you know what I'm saying? Possible concussions. You know what I'm saying? Like when they backing up and stuff like that, that's on your Achilles and, you know what I'm saying, and on your ankles and stuff like that. Wide receivers, they got to be running across the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though they're trying to cut down on some of these big hits, you still open yourself up to big hits. You know what I'm saying? People are like pulling at you, grabbing at you, going at your legs, because they don't want to, you know what I'm saying, touch any part of your head. So I think that you can't really compare the two, man. I think they both work hard. I think they both are really important positions, probably two of the most important positions on the team. So, right. What do you think about that, man? As far as the wide receivers and corner, like, do you think that one works harder than the other?
No, I mean both of them work hard. But if I was to choose one, I would definitely choose the DB, because the DB, first off, the start of your work is moving backwards. and
Right.
then you got to try to adjust to what the receiver giving you. The
Right.
receiver, they giving you something like boom, try to guard me, but you as a DB, you gotta try your best to stay with him and
Right.
adjust to what he's doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you starting, pedaling back,
Right.
So if I had to choose one to be corner, but both of them has to work. Like you said, those are two of the most important positions.
Yeah.
The
I just I
linebacker.
yeah, I just can't compare the two, like, because they're so important and
Yeah,
they're so different. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like if your number one receiver goes down, you're in trouble. If your number one corner goes down, you're in trouble.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like there's a comparison. I think they're both. I think they're both important positions, and I think they're both a position where you have a very high likeliness to be injured. You know what I'm saying, in the middle of the season. Like it's just what it is. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. So let's see. Let me see. Well, with Lattimore, they try him all game, and when he shut down, their best. They throw him. They throw from. Let me say that again. Let me see. With Lattimore, they try him all game, and when he shuts down their best, they throw away from him. What's up, TJ and Guess? Thank you, man. I had to go ahead and rewind that a little bit, but anyway, man, I agree with that. I feel like Lattimore does do some good things. Like I said, he just has to stay motivated, man. That is the key. That's his only issue with me, staying motivated. I don't think he has an issue. I don't think he has a problem. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think the Saints, don't need, what I'm saying? I don't feel like the Saints don't need to allow him to test free agency. I think that he's a really good corner. I think he's the best corner they ever had. I mean, I'm just looking down the list, looking at like all those other corners that they had. Those guys were pretty good. I mean, you can throw the Tracy Porters and the Jabari Greers in there, very formidable, but they never like been to a point where they can just shut down the top receiver and I never like they had like good technique and they are like, what I'm saying, deflect the pass every now and then, but to strike fear like into the hearts of a receiver or a quarterback not to throw to their side, not at all. Not at all. Let me see. Saints should have went after Tre'Davious White, but I'll take Marshawn. But Tre'Davious on different levels, and I guess that comes from being passed on in the draft. Yeah, man. Trey White was good at LSU. I mean, very talented. I feel like he was very underrated. People fall in love with the 40-yard dashes all the time, and he didn't run the fastest 40 as a cornerback, but I mean, look what he's doing now in Buffalo, man. I mean, arguably one of the best cornerbacks in football. He's lengthy. He's a tall guy. He's a physical guy. He's sure of himself. He's instinctive. He can get that ball, and he's emerging to be, in my opinion, the second coming of Patrick Peterson because he reminds me of him. Not so much of his speed, and what I'm saying, his elusiveness, but as far as his technique and stuff like that, man, I mean, I think he's pretty good. Do you follow Tre'Davious White? What you think about him, CB?
Well, this was his rookie year, or his second year.
I think this is his. I think it was going into the third year, if I'm mistaken. I think he came out 2018, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, that's the difference. His rookie year was he had a hell of a rookie year, and he followed it up, with another great season. To whereas Lattimore came off just as good as he did his rookie year, but seemed to struggle a little, his second year.
Right.
But I mean, far as like we should have went after him, over Lattimore. I'm not sure if that's what exactly was said.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how the chips fell in the draft.
Right.
With that. But like I said, Marshawn, he definitely has, like you were just saying, this is the best corner we've had, since who knows when.
Yeah.
You can go way back far as talent wise, and he's still young, so let's just give him he gonna shake back. He know this is contract year right here.
Okay.
Even if they thought that fifth year, this is contract year. So he gonna get right.
Yeah, I gotta make a correction. He came out in 2017, man. I mean, yeah, he came out the same time as Lattimore. So yeah, he came out 2017. So thank y'all for that. I was pretty sure he did come out with him out, man. I just said 2018. Yeah, they all came out because that was because I mean I know they was making a big deal at the Senior Bowl about Tre'Davious White talking about his speed and all that kind of stuff. And then I think and also he ended up getting injured or something like that, like at the Senior Bowl, or it was at a pro day. I mean, I don't think it was at the combine. I was actually at the Senior Bowl, and people were like, "Well, I don't know about him. You know what I'm saying? He damaged goods, or he might be injury prone." So I mean, he fell into the lap of Buffalo, and they're doing a real good job with him. We're gonna take a few. We're gonna take a few more questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Somebody says, "I don't know why we lost Boston Scott. He was a beast." Well, he's doing some good things out there in Philadelphia. I can tell you that. I just think that it really just came down to they felt like they already had like one of those utility backs in Alvin Kamara who can catch out of the backfield and run between the tackles. But I mean, he had a good mentor in Darren Sproles. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the Philadelphia Eagles and you get to learn from Darren Sproles and talk to him and pick his mind and stuff like that. It don't get better, man. You can argue and say that Darren Sproles might be the greatest scat back in NFL history. You know what I'm saying? I know in my opinion, he the greatest little man in NFL history. I don't, as far as like his size, he was like 5'5", 5'6". I mean, for him to go to Philadelphia, I think that was a blessing, you know what I'm saying, in disguise for him. I mean, down the stretch when they lost when they lost Samuels, and you know what I'm saying, they you know what I'm saying, all their running backs was basically on injury reserve. I mean, he came in and you can say, man, they probably wouldn't have made the playoff if it wasn't for him. They went in that game in overtime against the New York Giants, and I mean, he basically drove the team down the field. So, I mean, I got a lot of respect for him. I really do. Remember Bunk Game. Put some respect on Sean. Yeah, man. That was the 2017 Saints, man. Yeah, that's when everybody started jocking the swag. I mean, when everybody started running to the camera and stuff like that and posing with the teammates, like the Saints started that, man. And it started in 2017. Like everybody's running to the camera with their teammates with the ball and stuff all up in the camera. Like, come on, man. Lattimore is our defense. When he balling, the secondary be balling. Our front seven underrated. I don't think they underrated. You know what I'm saying? I know how good they can be. It's just the fact that they never healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like you always see Davenport, you always see Rankins, like they never healthy. You know, and when they're together collectively, like they're really, really good. But but you got to see it. You know, so what do you think about our front seven, man? What do you think about the front seven of the Saints?
As far as them being underrated, nah, I mean, like you said, they just got to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, I think we can definitely have a top 5 front seven in the game. I mean, you think Anzalone, he can't stay healthy. We had Kiko last year go out, Sheldon. I know we got Malcolm Brown, Mario Edwards, to try to fill the trenches. Even Shaw Tuttle stepped in, but Sheldon Rankins was supposed to be that guy in the trenches. I'm talking about, in the 3 technique.
Right.
We had him there. I'm not sure if this is his 5th-year option or what. I'm not sure what year this is for him. It's either his 4th or his 5th year, but it's just basically been injuries. Then Davenport, his first 2 seasons, nagging injuries. So we just got to stay healthy.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, man. Like if they stay healthy, they'll be pretty dangerous, man. They already got a good front 4. I mean, they don't give up, 100-yard rushes, so that's a plus. And if Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown in the middle, and you have Shaw Tuttle who emerging to be pretty good, and you got David Yamada, I mean, come on, man. Like that's like one of their strongest positions, So let's see, you're gonna take let me just take one more here. Well, I'm gonna take 2 more. Somebody say you can't really be a Saints fan when you're talking about the Dallas Cowgirls. Man, I don't know. Look, check this out. Anybody that know me, no, yeah, I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys. But at the same time, we keep it real here on the State of the Saints. I mean, they've done some things. I mean, they got a new coach. Mike McCartney is a Super Bowl winning coach. You know, I mean, they still got issues with Dak Prescott and everything like that. But I mean, don't make it seem like these guys can't make the playoff. I mean, let's not get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? We can not want them to make the playoffs, but I mean, there's still a strong possibility they make the playoffs. But and don't disrespect me like that, not y'all, man. Talk about I'm a cow, right? And I bleed black and gold, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been a Saints fan since I can remember. Like, I'm talking 91, 92. I'm talking about Cha-ching Saints up in here. I'm talking about Saints go all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, I remember when people was going to Swagman's and putting bags on their head. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. I remember when Swagman's ran out of bags because people was going to the Saints game just to win them. I'm serious. Like, they had a Swagman's, like, on the way to the Superdome on St. Claude. Some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about here. So, you know, people, like, they used to not have paper bags because people used to go in there before the game just to have a paper bag on their head, man. I'm telling you, like, I've been a Saints fan for a very, very long time. Let's see. This is going to be the last one right here. This comes from Scooby Doo. He says, TJ, what if Sheldon balls out? Let me see. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna be a proverbial swine song or is he gonna secure a spot. Nah, I don't think it's gonna be a swine song, man. Look, teams have a little bit more patience for players that they get in the first round, especially if those players got potential. And I think the Saints like Sheldon Rankins a lot. So I can't see Sheldon Rankins leaving the New Orleans Saints. I just can't. I can't see that. And I put it like this: like if he probably would have played the way he did in 2018 and didn't get hurt, then we probably have a different conversation. David Onyemata would not be playing for the Saints right now. Like that's just a fact. Like if Sheldon Rankins would have never got hurt, if Sheldon Rankins would have played, he had 8 sacks that season. 2018 had 8 sacks before that divisional round game we tore his Achilles. David Onyemata would not be a New Orleans Saint if Sheldon Rankins would have never got hurt. So that's the whole reason why he is. You know what I'm saying? Sheldon Rankins had to die for David Onyemata to live. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think about Sheldon Rankins, man? What do you think about him? And do you think he's going to get another contract with the Saints?
I think he might not have no. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody gonna give him a look, once his time come. But I mean, really can't put up no case for no bid numbers. I mean, because he hadn't been healthy, so far as number wise, it ain't gonna be nothing, just crazy,
all right?
But I mean, it just health. He gotta shape back right. Once he broke the leg and then the Achilles, then he came back, and then he messed up his ankle. He just gotta get back right. Now, hopefully, all this time off, it just gave him time to just train and rehab. So hopefully he's 100%. But when he's on point, even in the passing game as a rusher, like you said, he had 8 sacks his rookie year. You putting that along with a healthy Davenport, and then what Cam gonna bring,
right?
So
man, I agree. I agree. Look, I think about with Sheldon Rankins. I think like he's a really good defensive tackle. I think he was like on the rise to be like that middle of the pack to a top defensive interior player. Before he ended up getting injured, man. I think that he came back too fast. I understand that he wanted to be out there. He wanted to perform. He wanted to be there for his teammates. But sometimes you got to make business decisions, man. You got to make sure that you 100% before you hit the field. These organizations, they will cash you aside. You know what I'm saying? If you end up getting hurt, and then the next thing you know, you don't get no contract at all. I mean, he never really had that big contract or the opportunity to get a big contract. And I think he was like the 12th pick in the draft. So, I mean, you get that first round money, but to be paid what you're really worth, that you know what I'm saying, I had an opportunity to really cash in. I feel like he should have probably just waited. I mean, the Saints didn't need him at the time. I mean, they had Malcolm Brown, they had Shot Tuttle coming along. then Mario Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, you had David Anyamata, so they had the depth. So I don't understand like why he rushed back. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe it was peer pressure. Maybe it was, you know what I'm saying? Like you felt like you was just 100% healthy, and I get it, but you got to take care of yourself, man. But CB, I want to say thank you, man, for being a part of the show tonight, man. Thank you so much, brother. Once again, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you.
All you have to do is just hit up the WDN chat line podcast page. It's on YouTube. We got a page on Facebook and we got a page on Twitter. If you want to hit us up about being a guest or anything, just hit us up at wdnchatline@gmail.com. And once again, shout out to my team. And I definitely appreciate you, TJ, for bringing me on. Once again, I was watching your podcast, for a while, and a huge fan.
That, man.
Huge fan of your show, man. Like I said, it was real dope, man, to get on here with you and collab.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. It's not gonna be the last time either, man. I just feel like that's what it's all about, man. It's about, you know what I'm saying, working together and stuff like that, man. And we're all fans of the New Orleans Saints. We're all members of the Who Dat Nation. So, man, thank you so much for taking your time out, man, and bringing a lot of people from your channel along, you know what I'm saying, to be a part of the show too, man. I appreciate them. You gave some people some shout outs. I think J Live was one, and a few more individuals, man. So I want to thank them also, man, for checking out the State of the Saints. But I want to thank everybody out there, for checking out the State of the Saints podcast tonight. If you have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Also available in audio form on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and also you can access the State of the Saints podcast by using Alexa. Just say, Alexa, play the State of the Saints podcast, and it'll play the most recent episode for you, man. So thank you all very much. You all have a good night, evening, morning, wherever you're watching this. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?